Hi, my name is Amber, and this is my top 10 favorite books of 2017. Now, none of these are in any order because if I tried to actually order them, I'd probably go crazy. There's no way I could decide. And just like last year's videos, which I will have linked down below, all of these books are books that have been published in 2017. If they haven't been published in 2017, I don't count them on these lists. The first book on my list is Wires and Nerve by Marissa Meyer. This is the graphic novel which follows Aiko's story from the Lunar Chronicles, and I just love this so much. I really enjoy graphic novels and honestly wish I read them more often, and having one of my favorite series in graphic novel form just makes my heart so happy. This first volume is absolutely incredible. It felt exactly like reading Lunar Chronicles. You got to see these characters which I have fallen in love with so much again, and you get to see Aiko's story and get to follow her, and I am in love with the art. I think it's absolutely beautiful and gorgeous, and I honestly think this was perfect for the first volume. Another favorite, not surprisingly, is one that I've talked about 1,000 times on my channel and anywhere else that you follow me, and that is Geekerella by Ashley Poston. This is a cute, adorable, fantastic, amazing contemporary, and I have raved and ranted about this book for the past 6 months since I've read it in May. If you want to see my full review, I'll have that link down below, just warning that it's extremely long. This is a story about Elle, who lives with her stepmother and stepsisters, and her father just recently passed away. One of the big connections between her and her father was a show called Starfield, and Starfield is being rebooted and a new lead actor is taking over the main role, and Elle is extremely nervous about how he's going to handle this. This is from two different perspectives, and the other perspective is Darian, who is the actor that's going to be taking over that role. He's getting a lot of hate for taking this role because everybody doesn't know what he's going to do, but he's actually secretly a huge fan of Starfield, and this is a big deal for him. These two start texting and they don't know who each other are, and it's incredible, just heartwarming, heartbreaking, fantastic book that I really wish more people would read. So if you haven't checked this out, please go do so because it really deserves so much more love. The next one I want to bring up is Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. This is another one I've talked about a decent amount of times, and I just love this book so much for one main reason, and that is the dialogue. The dialogue in this book is just something I adore, especially between the two main characters. They're sassy and sarcastic, and it's just hilarious and incredible to watch them interact. And this is a story of the daughter of the Pirate King, and the Pirate King has sent his daughter to find a piece of a map. There are 3 pieces of a map that are spread out between the different pirate lords, and once you get all of them, you're able to find a giant island full of tons and tons of treasure. So she ends up having to kind of fake her kidnapping to get on the ship to get close to the pirate lord to steal this piece of a map. I don't know how to fully describe how much fun this book is. It's super quick read. I think I finished it in a day. It was just extremely fast to read through and fun, and I could not put it down, and I'm so incredibly excited for the next book that's coming out soon. Next, not really surprisingly, is A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 3rd and final in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, though technically there's going to be more, but they're not part of this trilogy, and I don't care. Just give me more of these characters, I'm fine with it. While I think the second one is still my absolute favorite out of this series, I did fully enjoy this a lot. It was so great seeing these characters again, it was so great being in this world again, and it was fantastic seeing this finally kind of wrap up in a way. The series has become one of my favorite series of all time. Next, I want to talk about Hunted by Megan Spooner. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I love retellings. If you can't figure that out by just watching my channel, I am in love with retellings, and I will pretty much read any of them. And this is one that I absolutely adored. This definitely has a little bit of a darker twist on it, but it's still really light and fun and a fast read. And it's the first book that I've read from Megan Spooner, so I'm incredibly happy to kind of continue reading more and more from her. I just loved the magic in this, and I really enjoyed the main 2 characters, especially the Beast in this. I thought he was adorable and kind of just weird and nerdy, and I don't know what it was about his character that I just fell in love with really quickly. Now I'm kind of cheating with the next 2 because I'm including them as one since they're from the same series, but they both came out this year and I really wanted to talk about both of them, and that is Frostblood and Fireblood by Ellie Blake. Both of these came out this year and I read both of them and loved them so much. I definitely think I might have enjoyed the first one a little bit more, but I am so incredibly excited to see where the 3rd book is going to go. This is a story where there are Frostbloods and Firebloods, and there's kind of a war going on between the 2. Our main character is a Fireblood, and she's one of the few that are left in her land, and everyone hates her and she's basically running from her life. Until a few Frostbloods find her and try to convince her to help them overthrow the kingdom. It's really fast paced, really fun. The next one I talk about is kind of a random one. I didn't honestly think I was going to put it on this list, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized how much I enjoyed it and how excited I am to continue on with this series. And that is Shadowrun by Adrian Strickland and Michael Miller. If you've watched Firefly at all, go read this book. It is so similar to it, but so unique and different, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I'm a huge Firefly fan, so I was extremely excited when I heard that this was similar to that, and it definitely reminded me of it in a ton of ways. This is definitely a full-on sci-fi novel with tons of war and characters and abilities and just this insane kingdom, and really enjoyed it. But this is one that if you love sci-fi, if you love Firefly, please go check out this book. Next, I want to bring up Avenged by Amy Chintira. This is the sequel to Ruined, which I read last year, and I think it was also in my top 10 for last year. I think Amy Chintira is definitely an author that just doesn't get enough recognition in my opinion. I really enjoyed her other duology reboot, and I am extremely excited to see where this series is going to continue going. I was a little nervous going into the sequel because sequels always make people nervous. That's just a thing. You're always worried it's not going to be as good as the first one, but this definitely held up in my opinion. Next is one that surprised me to get on this list, and that is Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. It's no secret that I enjoy Sarah J. Maas's books. It's no secret that I enjoy the Throne of Glass series, but this is a book that I honestly just didn't think I was going to enjoy that much. It was one that while I planned on picking up, it just definitely wasn't that high on my list for ones I wanted to read, and it honestly just shocked me by how much I enjoyed this. I love Cale's character, even though I felt a little off about him in some of the books because of certain events. I never really saw myself enjoying a book that was mainly based around his character. This made me a little nervous, and I honestly didn't think I was going to really get into it and enjoy it as much as I did. Once I started really getting into it, I just flew through this book in no time at all. I listened to the audiobook, and that just made it even that much better because I really enjoyed the audiobook for this. But it was incredible seeing Cale's character that we know so well but are also so confused by in these last few books, get to really see him kind of grow and become this entirely new person in a way, but also become the Cale we used to love in the first few books. And I am so incredibly excited about where he's going to go. I'm so incredibly excited about these new characters meeting some of the old ones and how that's gonna go. I loved these new characters. I really enjoyed Irene. I really enjoyed Sartak. While I definitely wanted to follow Cale's side of the story more than Nezran's, I still really enjoyed Sartak as a character, and I really enjoyed their side of the story. I just thought this was a lot of fun, and this was so great for these characters, and it just had that feel of the first two books again, and I loved that. The last book that I want to mention is Warcraft by Marie Lu. When everybody kept comparing it to kind of Ready Player One in that feel, I was just ready to jump on board and grab this book as fast as I possibly could. And it definitely has that feeling, but it's also unique and different in its own way. It definitely feels like Ready Player One though, so if you enjoyed Ready Player One, you're probably going to enjoy this too. Now, a main character lives in a world where a device called the Neuralink exists. It is very similar to the Oasis in Ready Player One, so if you know what that is, you'll understand the Neuralink really well. If you don't, it's basically this virtual reality device that kind of goes from this small thing to this huge device that is used by pretty much everyone for jobs, for school, for games, for anything. It is used all the time by tons and tons of people. Now, the creator of the Neuralink also created this game called Warcraft, which has become another huge event. There are tournaments and championships, and people watch across the world for these games and these players. Now, our main character accidentally glitches herself into the game and gets the notice of the creator of the game, and he calls her in to basically become a bounty hunter because somebody's trying to destroy the Neuralink. I enjoy these characters a lot. While you only really get to see a couple of the main characters a little bit, and some of the side characters aren't really brought up as much, I'm hoping they get brought up a little bit more in the sequel. But I really enjoyed the main character. I really enjoyed her life and her experience growing up and seeing how she reacts to being a part of this new world where money is basically no option, and she's famous and well known across the world. And another thing I really enjoyed was just seeing the inner workings of the Neuralink in Warcross, and I just loved seeing the way the game was played, learning the rules, seeing the matches. It was so much fun, and I really enjoyed it. It brought me back to the same enjoyment I got out of Ready Player One. So I fell in love with this really quickly, and I cannot wait to see where the sequel's going to go because it ended in just such a weird way that I can't wait to see what happens next. So those are my top 10 favorite reads of 2017. Let me know your favorite read from this past year down below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.